In the dazzling and often carefully scripted universe of Chinese entertainment, there are rare moments when the boundary between performance and reality grows thin enough to make audiences pause, rewind, and quietly ask themselves whether what they are witnessing is still acting at all, and few pairings have ignited such sustained fascination and emotional curiosity as Hou Minghao and Tan Songyun, whose on-screen connection seemed to gently, almost imperceptibly, evolve into something far more resonant than a simple professional collaboration, captivating viewers with a chemistry that felt instinctive, unforced, and deeply human from their very first shared scene. As if an unspoken understanding had already been established before a single line was delivered. As filming progressed, fans began to notice subtle yet unmistakable changes in Hou Minghao whenever Tan Songyun entered the frame. Changes that could not be explained by blocking or direction alone, his posture softening as, though he unconsciously relaxed in her presence, his expressions growing gentler, warmer, more open, and his eyes lingering just a moment longer than the script required. As if his attention was drawn not only to the character she portrayed but to the person standing before him, creating a quiet, magnetic tension that resonated through every glance, every pause, every shared breath between lines. These moments, though seemingly small and fleeting in isolation, accumulated into something undeniably powerful over time, prompting viewers to dissect behind-the-scenes clips frame by frame, analyze interviews word by word, and scrutinize promotional events for meaning hidden between gestures and expressions. And what they discovered only deepened the intrigue, as Hou Minghao's reactions appeared increasingly spontaneous, his smiles more vulnerable, his gaze less guarded, suggesting emotions that were not entirely rehearsed or controlled, but instead surfaced naturally in response to Tan Songyun's presence. During romantic scenes, his movements carried a natural hesitation and tenderness that felt lived in rather than choreographed, the kind of intimacy that cannot be manufactured through technique alone but must be felt in the moment. And one particularly quiet scene, absent of dramatic dialogue or grand declarations, emerged as a defining moment when Hou Minghao's eyes alone conveyed longing, affection, and emotional exposure so raw and unfiltered that many viewers described it as feeling like an accidental glimpse into a private exchange rather than a scripted performance intended for millions. Off camera, the atmosphere between them continued to invite speculation, as Hou Minghao was frequently observed paying close attention to Tan Songyun's comfort, whether by adjusting his position to shield her from harsh lighting, offering quiet reminders during breaks, or simply listening intently when she spoke. His body language consistently open and receptive. And during public appearances, he often adjusted his pace to match hers, small gestures that spoke volumes precisely because they were never exaggerated or made for show. In interviews, his tone subtly shifted whenever her name was mentioned, his voice softening, his expressions brightening, his words filled with genuine admiration as he praised her warmth, professionalism, and ability to make everyone around her feel at ease, compliments that felt less like polite co-star courtesy and more like heartfelt appreciation rooted in lived experience. Tan Songyun, known throughout the industry for her emotional intelligence, kindness, and natural charm, seemed to draw out a softer, more relaxed side of Hou Minghao, revealing moments of shyness and playful awkwardness that contrasted beautifully with his usual confidence, making their interactions even more compelling to watch as audiences witnessed a multifaceted version of him that felt refreshingly authentic. As their scenes grew more emotionally intense, fans noticed how effortlessly Hou Minghao navigated moments of close physical proximity, his touch gentle and respectful, his movements instinctive rather than calculated, as if the emotional connection between them had already been firmly established long before the cameras began rolling, and there were fleeting seconds, often captured unintentionally in behind-the-scenes footage, where he appeared momentarily lost in her eyes, forgetting the presence of crew, lights, and cameras entirely, moments so genuine that they quickly went viral and ignited endless online discussion and debate. During promotional events, his protective instincts became increasingly apparent, whether guiding Tan Songyun through crowded spaces, subtly positioning himself between her and oncoming movement, or instinctively turning toward her during chaotic moments, actions that felt natural rather than performative and further reinforced the idea that his feelings, whatever their true nature, were rooted in genuine care. What made these moments especially captivating was Hou Minghao's apparent lack of awareness that his emotions were so visible to those watching, his reactions unfiltered and sincere, suggesting that he was not consciously trying to project a specific image or fuel speculation, but was simply responding honestly to the moment and the person in front of him in emotionally charged scenes. His performances reached a depth that many viewers believed could only come from drawing on real emotion, his voice trembling at just the right moments without tipping into excess, tears welling with restraint rather than dramatics, and expressions filled with longing and tenderness that lingered long after the episode ended, leaving viewers with the sense that they had witnessed something deeply personal rather than purely fictional. Tan Songyun's presence appeared to inspire him to step beyond his comfort zone as an actor, encouraging vulnerability, emotional honesty, and a willingness to let silence speak, qualities that elevated their scenes into some of the most memorable moments of the drama and transformed ordinary dialogue into emotionally charged exchanges on set. Moments of intense emotion were often followed by shared laughter and quiet relief, and Hou Minghao was frequently seen glancing toward Tan Songyun after successful takes, as if instinctively seeking her reaction or approval, a subtle habit that hinted at a connection built on mutual respect, trust, and emotional understanding rather than simple professional obligation. Even during lighthearted interactions, rehearsals, or cast activities, his attention seemed naturally drawn to her, his focus returning to her presence again and again, reinforcing fans' belief that this was the kind of behavior that happens instinctively when someone feels genuinely comfortable and emotionally attuned to another person. The realism of their romantic scenes sparked widespread conversation online, with viewers praising the effortless chemistry and emotional authenticity that made their story feel grounded rather than exaggerated, and many commented that the beauty of their connection lay in its restraint, in the way emotion was conveyed through what was left unsaid rather than through grand gestures. In press conferences and media appearances, Hou Minghao's unconscious smiles whenever Tan Songyun spoke added another layer to the narrative fans were piecing together, his expressions often revealing pride, warmth, and quiet admiration before he seemed to realize he was being observed. Some of the most talked about moments were the quiet ones that could easily have been overlooked, where a shared look across the room, a brief smile, or a gentle touch conveyed more emotion than dialogue ever could, moments where his admiration seemed impossible to hide despite his efforts to maintain composure. As filming continued, fans observed a gradual intensification in his gaze during romantic scenes, as if his emotional investment deepened over time, blurring the line between character and reality even further and raising questions about how much of what audiences were seeing was rooted in genuine feeling. Despite all the speculation, Hou Minghao maintained a consistently professional stance, never openly confirming any personal emotions or feeding rumors directly, yet his inability to fully conceal his admiration became part of his appeal, making fans appreciate his honesty and emotional openness even more. For many viewers, the beauty of this connection lay in its ambiguity, in the fact that it did not need labels or confirmations to feel meaningful, because the emotions conveyed on screen were already powerful enough. Ultimately, the magic of their connection lies not in whether the feelings were romantic or simply deep admiration, but in how real they felt to those watching, serving as a reminder that the most powerful love stories are not defined by dramatic confessions or sweeping gestures, but by subtle sincerity, emotional presence, and genuine connection, through quiet glances, heartfelt performances, and moments that felt undeniably authentic. Hou Minghao and Tan Songyun created a bond that transcended the confines of the script and continued to captivate fans long after the final scene faded to black, leaving a lasting impression that lingers in conversations, fan edits, and collective memory. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of Chinese entertainment's most intriguing on-screen connections, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to 24H News, TM, and share your thoughts, interpretations, and theories in the comments below. We would truly love to hear what you think.